Welcome to the Beyond the Vines podcast, where I interview local business owners in Sonoma County to highlight small business and grow our community. I'm your host, Amy Ehlers, a mom, realtor, and Sonoma County native, and I'm excited to connect you to some amazing people in this beautiful area that we call home. Welcome back to the Beyond the Vines podcast. Thank you again for tuning in. We are talking about one of my favorite subjects today, coffee. I'm so excited about this one. So I'm here today with Natalie Vinueza of Grand Central Petaluma. I'm really excited for you to learn more about this. If you have not popped by this coffee shop and location yet, oh boy, you really need to. You'll be in for a treat. So I'm so excited to learn more about it today and to share more about it. And with that, I welcome Natalie.
Yay. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. I was so glad Tiana had introduced us, and she had a podcast episode probably a month ago, maybe a little bit longer. And so it was really nice to be connected and get to know you and then come out to the coffee shop. Is that what you call it? Your coffee, Grand Central?
The shop.
And kind of see what all you have going on there, because it's very impressive. It's very warm, and I love it.
Oh,
so,
thank you.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about the story behind how you got started.
Yeah, that's a fun one. So I'm originally from Petaluma, born and raised here in Petaluma. And I was an actor in New York and LA for most of my adult life until I had a baby. And I had a 1-year-old when the pandemic hit when I was living in LA. And so my parents were like, well, come up to Petaluma and pod up and go back to LA when work starts up again, because nothing in Hollywood was happening. Everything was shut down. There was nothing being filmed. So we came here as like a hiatus until the world went back to normal, and then it really never did.
No.
So my husband and I have always been doing, in addition to being a producer and an actor, I was always importing and distributing cacao and different artisanal items from Ecuador. And so when we moved here, we rented the building that is now Grand Central as our wholesale warehouse, essentially.
Oh.
Yeah. And then because like Petaluma does, Santa Claus was coming on the tugboat.
Oh, yeah.
Right there. And our whole parking lot just filled up with kids and people. And we're like, what?
Best day of the year.
Yes, it is the best. And I remember it as a child.
Yes.
So I'm like, let's make hot cocoa for everybody. And so we just started like giving out hot cacao. And then I just started like thinking, and my father, who secretively never wanted us to go back to LA, was like, you should open a coffee shop. And we're like, that's crazy. We're going back. Like, this is a temporary situation. And then it wasn't. And so we kind of opened a coffee shop because it's what the community needed at the time. Yep. And it was a kind of piggyback off of our wholesale business.
That is amazing. I didn't know that whole background. And it's always amazing to me to see how things work and how they kind of pop up and life changes. So,
totally.
Isn't it funny? If there was no COVID, there may be no Grand Central.
I think that is accurate.
Wow. That's amazing.
Very accurate.
Wow. Can you tell us more about your decision to offer organic and fair trade coffee, and why is that focus so important to you?
Sure. So one, I really love this question because fair trade is a big sticking point. Fair trade is actually an American certifier. So all of our products are B Corporation certified, which is actually international certification that kind of umbrellas fair trade and then some. So like Patagonia, for example, is a B Corp, just as an example. So you have to be all the checked boxes of fair trade. But what was really important to us was to represent a product that comes from a country that is underrepresented in the space. So my husband's from Ecuador, and our chocolate that we import is from Ecuador, as is our coffee, which is South American blends. And the reason why fair trade's important, or the idea of fair trade, is that you're paying the workers what they are worth. And so our chocolate that we sell in our shop is actually not bean to bar, but tree to bar is how they phrase it, because it's really buying it directly from those local farmers. And so you know that more percentage of the income and the money is going directly to them, not through third-party middlemen and others.
I love that. I love that you've made that such a priority.
Yeah.
Because it is. It's like it makes your shop special, I feel like, and also just the values that you have kind of come across in the items that you serve, of course. So,
thank you. And just knowing that we're actually providing jobs to people.
Absolutely.
I mean, to think that cacao has grown in South America for many generations, but it's not until like the 21st century that chocolate from those countries has actually won international awards.
Wow.
So Picari is one of the first South American chocolate tree to bar companies that won at the international level. So like European brand against European brands.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, and so it's almost like you're providing jobs here, of course, with like having a business and then also there.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
I love that. Beyond the coffee, how do you source your pastries and ingredients? And can you tell us more about local vendors and farms? I know we've had this conversation.
It's a super important thing to me, similar to you. I think you're a big community supporter.
Absolutely.
And, it's important to me to know that we're helping our local economy. And there's so many great things here in Sonoma County and right here in Petaluma. So we sell a lot of local products. The pastries specifically are actually originally the first batch of pastries were from La Bodega, which is an organic, vegan, a really wonderful woman named Meek Meek. We call her Meek Meek. Her name's Meek. She's an Israeli woman, and she makes amazing pastries are out in Sebastopol. So we started kind of providing her with cacao, actually, as wholesale providers. And then we were like, oh, you make pastries. We're opening a coffee shop. Do you want to provide? So we were helping get people to her restaurant as well as like a kind of a win-win, helping each other. And then we just recently started working with the pastry chef of Table Counter Provisions, TCP. And she makes she's Filipina, and she makes really unique stuff with like ube and kind of the more kitschy, modern spins on pastries. So I love that.
So cool. Yeah. And what a way to use our local resources.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So those are the pastries. You should definitely come and try one.
I mean, you're making me hungry right now.
Good.
Are you still open? Should I stop by after
Till
this?
3 o'clock.
We better end this.
Yeah.
How does being located along the Petaluma River enhance the experience at Grand Central, and does that play a role in attracting customers?
Yeah, definitely. In fact, we have an upcoming event on October 26th. I'm part of this group called Basin Businesses, which is all the businesses on the basin. And it's really about creating this kind of the center. I grew up in Petaluma, and I never thought of it as a riverfront community, but that's changing. The trestle, people want the trestle to happen. There's the float house now on the river. So on October 26th, we're actually partnering with our basin businesses, and the float house is doing their witches and warlocks on paddle thing, and we're doing Farmer Aaron is coming to do a Halloween concert for kids. So the idea is you get to watch the warlocks on the paddle boats while listening to like a fun kids Halloween musical. And that's only available because of the view of the river. Also, our view from our parking lot was the picture of the phone book for like 30 years growing up here. But nobody, they're like, oh, this is where that picture was taken.
How funny.
And even me, when I opened the business, I was like, wait, this looks familiar. But like no one comes to that side of the river, and it's just this new development. It's changing, but
yeah, definitely.
It definitely is like the underdeveloped side of town.
I love that. And so that event is open to the public.
Halloween is open to the public. The concert is a ticketed like per family $20.
Perfect.
But
Farmer Aaron is worth
Farmer
$20.
Aaron is amazing.
Farmer Aaron's incredible.
And Heidi and the rest. But
they're
all
I feel
great.
Like my kids all have. Because my kids are at an older age than they used to see Farmer Aaron when they were little. They used to take his music classes. But I'm thinking now their age, I'm like, oh, they have a bunch of plans going on that day. I feel like I could just go.
Just come at 11 to watch the witches and warlocks. That's not ticketed to show up.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's amazing that you have that.
View.
That's great. That's amazing. So anyone that's listening, that would be an amazing event to go to. So how does Grand Central Petaluma engage with the local community, and what role does it play downtown?
Yeah, thanks for that's a good question. I wish my husband was here, Juan Carlos, but one of our big missions is really to integrate the East and the West. And because we literally are at the bridge, like locally to the east side, the west side meeting on the river, I really enjoy being a space where people from both sides of the community can come together. And a lot of times that's cross-cultural as well. There's a huge Latin community here in Petaluma.
Definitely.
But I don't see a lot of spaces in Petaluma that's truly equally representative. And so not only our staff, but also our clientele are very diverse. And so that's something that I've really, we've focused a lot on making a space that is welcoming to both cultures and communities.
Great. I also never thought about that with your location. You really are like, you're downtown, but you're like right on the outskirts.
Totally.
People don't have to park downtown.
No, you can ride your bike.
Yes.
You can walk.
You really are like the bridge.
You can take the train from the SMART train from Novato or Santa Rosa.
Have you done that yet? That's cool. My kids just did that yesterday with their grandma.
So fun.
That's so fun. That's amazing. So that's a really great point. Yeah, you're right. Kind of on the outskirts, so people don't have to worry about trying to navigate downtown if
parking
it's busy.
Can be hard down here,
can be
guys.
Very hard. Parking can be very hard.
I walked over the bridge.
That was a good idea
today.
Gosh, and it's
I did
nice
not drive
today. It is not hot either, which is nice. So what else is on the calendar? Any other kind of events that are coming up or things that you have in mind? I know you and I have bounced an idea off each other too.
We'll definitely talk about that before we're done.
Yes.
For sure. So yes. Our regular programming would be that every Friday until it starts raining, we have Willow and Hound. It's a husband and wife singing songwriting group that does music appreciation for free for kids. It's a nonprofit that they've built that I'm now the name is eluding me, but if you follow Willow and Hound on Instagram, you'll see their nonprofit work. And they basically do a class for toddlers every Friday at 10 o'clock at Grand Central.
Wow.
So they focus on different instruments, different type. It's literally just about getting music into lives of youngsters so that they learn to appreciate it at a young age. So it's an educational music class. It's not like a learning how to play instruments.
Right.
But it's well attended. It's
Amazing.
free. It's paid for by this nonprofit.
Wow.
So you should definitely come 10 o'clock if you have a toddler. Come by. And then every Saturday's story time. And we do that at 10 o'clock as well. Try to keep it consistent when you're a busy parent. Idea. You're like, what time is this? It's every Friday at 10, every Saturday at 10.
I love
and
that.
Every Saturday at 10, we do story time, but it changes every week. So there's Spanish story time.
Oh, cool.
There's French story time, which is this Saturday.
Wow.
It's all en français. So
Amazing.
you can come here, teacher Lucy, do it in French. And then, every week has like a different focus.
I love
But it's every
that.
Saturday at 10.
That's such a nice almost like a break for the parents because they can get their coffee and their pastry while their kids are entertained.
So this is where this business came out of my necessity of having a
of needing
2-year-old
that.
and being like, there was no story times at libraries during the pandemic.
Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine. My kids were,
You must have lived in
my
those.
youngest was in TK during the pandemic. So I can't imagine not having library time during those very long days.
TK Zoom.
We did TK Zoom and Kinder Zoom.
God help
Zoom.
you.
Like,
Sorry,
awful.
Amy.
Two of ours were TK and Kinder Zoom because I have my stepdaughter too. It was, yeah, it was a little
That's
brutal.
a lot.
Yeah, it was funny. I remember our kids shutting down that computer and me being like, you have to pop back up and show your face.
Oh my gosh. They're
Awful.
Yes.
So we survived.
Yeah, we did.
Do you have any other like sustainability practices that you really bring into the shop? I know you and I have talked a little bit about the purple cups, but like anything like that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I'm trying to get this program going a little more, but I personally use our coffee grounds for compost and like make fertilizer. There's like a whole YouTube thing on how you can turn coffee grounds into functional like fertilization and things.
Wow.
So for my own garden, I do that. I really want to like mason jar it up and sell it, but I haven't gotten that far or like do a workshop
That's
like
a
that.
great idea.
Because, how many coffee shops have so many coffee grounds? Like, it's just, at least it goes in the green bins. Hopefully, everybody who has a coffee shop is doing that. But more so than just put it in the green bin, like repurposing these things.
I love that.
Also, we give a discount if you come in with your own cup because that's honestly ideal. Like, Purple Cup is a pilot, and I don't know how it's going to actually pan out post pilot. And so the best thing is to bring your own cup in to a coffee shop and just so we do a discount for those people because I do want to incentivize that.
Great.
And then the third thing is just the walkability and the bikeability of our business. We have so many. When we moved in, I got a whole bunch of pallets because we're wholesalers and we use pallets to make bike racks. So we have like multiple pallet bike racks which are reusable. It's like it's literally would have been trash and it's a bike rack and you can come on a bike. And so
it looks like a bike rack when you think about a pallet.
Well, that's what my brain, I was like, there's got to be a pallet bike rack. So I YouTubed it and I was like, we can totally use these because we had them stacked up from our wholesale business and people just like usually throw them away.
Yes, definitely.
So you can make a bike rack at home.
Wow. You know what I want to do? This is so off topic here, but I saw recently that I'm asking my husband to build. So if you have any more pallets, let me know.
Yeah.
We have like a permanent campsite up north. And I was like, we could build the cutest bar out of pallets and like have have like a freestanding bar sitting there for like when all our camping friends come by.
Oh, that'd be so
Wouldn't that
fun.
be
Where's
cute?
your campsite?
Blue Lake, up like a little north of Ukiah.
I love Blue Lake.
We're obsessed. We have our last weekend there this weekend before we close up for the season.
Oh, no.
So the bar's gonna have to happen next year.
Yes,
but
next year.
It's okay.
2025 bar.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
2025 bar. You can come. Provide the pallets. I'll serve
Yes.
drinks.
I'll make some espresso martinis.
That sounds perfect. Oh my gosh, I love it. This is a plan. That's amazing. So what has been the most rewarding aspect of running Grand Central Petaluma, and what do you hope your customers will take away from their experience there?
Creating, like you mentioned that it was warm. That's the biggest compliment you could have said.
Oh,
it's
good.
color-wise, space-wise, the fact that there's bilingual employees. Like we really, really are attempting to create a space you walk in, you feel like it's your home. I want everyone to feel welcome there. I don't want anyone to come in and be like, this isn't my space. And so we have people, as old as 100 who are regulars and as young as 2. And I love this cross-generational space as well, where it's like not for the young, cool people, and it's also not just for retired people, that it's a space for like grandmas to hang out with their grandkids. And that, I don't know, really warms my heart to be able to create a space like that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and it does feel like you're at home when you go in.
Yeah.
It's very special.
Like a cozy couch. And
Cozy
stuff.
couch. Yeah, it's just a special vibe in there. That's amazing. Coming off business for a little bit, what are 3 fun facts about you personally?
Oh, I tried not to think about this before because I was like, I'm just going to, it's probably embarrass myself off the cuff.
Oh, I love it. It's embarrassing.
Yeah,
That's good.
I think it might be. Well, I was trying to do 2 truths and a lie recently.
There you go.
And I was like, wow, my truths seem like lies. I have had to kiss Gary Busey in a commercial.
Stop. What was the commercial for?
Oh my God. Well, it was in Donald Trump's show. It was in Celebrity Apprentice. I was on Celebrity Apprentice. And,
you were?
Yeah. And I had to kiss Gary Busey in a Samsung commercial that Lisa Remy was producing. It was really bad. Yeah. I mean, it was really embarrassing.
Like a gross kiss, bad commercial.
Yeah, he like barked at me and then started to kiss me. He's like,
that's so romantic.
It was terrible. It was really bad, guys. So I don't know if I could top that, but
it's pretty much like I can't even imagine how you can.
So it's a weird random fact. I already mentioned that I grew up here.
Yes.
And then a third thing about me is I'm like trying, in addition to owning this business and being a mom, I'm also trying to start a whole new consulting business.
Wow.
Which is kind of exciting.
Tell us more.
Well, I'm trying to bridge the gap between my acting career and like business knowledge. And so coaching small businesses on how to do public speaking, how to communicate with one another. It's really communication skills. And a lot of the younger generations don't have that because they're always on their phones or social media. So they don't know how to go in a room and like tell their experience.
Interesting.
And so it's kind of like speech coaching, but on a corporate level.
I love that.
So I actually have a workshop this Saturday at Grand Central. I'm trying to teach that. But
cool.
I'm pivoting more because a lot of people are like, I'd love to do it, but I'm embarrassed to speak in front of people. So it's more about like, okay, so let me help you individually.
Like a private consultation.
Yeah, because people get really weird about public speaking.
So many people do. And I see it in the podcast because a lot of people are very worried when they like first come in. And I think this room is amazing. Yeah. But it's also a little intimidating if you don't like to speak on a giant microphone. Yeah. And so we do see that. So, we're business owners, they get comfortable once they start talking, but I would say at least half are
what
very
I'm saying. And if
worried.
you just did like a 2-hour workshop, or you have a front, you go, how many times have you been to a business and the people at the front are not representing your business well?
Right.
Because
Great point.
they look down, they don't have good eye contact. Yep. It's so important, your body language, your eye contact. And so I coach all my staff, and I think that's part of why our space is warm, because I spend so many hours teaching our staff how to be welcoming and be confident.
Yep.
And give the customer the feeling that like they're confident, they know what they're doing.
That's like lifelong skills that you're teaching them too, which is great. Yeah. And it is the younger generation. It's different.
I know. When I became the old generation, I don't know, but
when we started getting Botox. That's incredible. Is there anything? Oh, speaking back to that, you have Cara coming soon too, right? That's teaching speaking.
Yes, and thank you for telling me your daughter's name.
Yes,
your daughter took her class.
Yes, she did it at her
Cara
school,
Wasden.
and also her
amazing.
best friend did one of her courses. So she's amazing.
I saw your email.
Yeah, she's incredible. But that reminded me of that. Off topic again.
Yeah,
is there anything else that I've missed that you would really like to share?
We have to talk about
us.
Yes, come on.
Yes.
I got to pitch you before
and
we're
we
done
don't
here.
have a date for this yet, but this is going to happen, and
Yes.
it's going to be amazing. So we're going to do a course for business owners, small business owners, local business owners, on how to start the home buying process, because it is totally different when you're not getting your normal W-2.
Yeah. Well, a lot of us, I mean, like myself, I think I put my money into my business more than focusing on building equity and home ownership. And so I think it's really smart that there is a way to kind of not doctor your books, but have it look correct for the purposes of a mortgage.
Exactly.
And so that is what we're definitely keep a lookout for those dates.
That will be shared. We're going to bring Paul Olbranson from Clear to Close Brokers. He's fantastic, and he'll be really good at educating everyone.
And I know a lot of people in my boat, so I'll bring those business owners.
It's huge.
For sure.
I can't wait. It's going to be so fun. Maybe we should do espresso martinis that night too.
Yes.
Just a random thought.
Ooh,
So finally, where can my listeners find you if they want to come pop by?
Yeah, cool. Grand Central Petaluma. We have a really active Instagram. So honestly, if you want to know up-to-date events, that's probably the best. We do have a newsletter as well. So if you come in to get a coffee, just sign up for the newsletter on our POS system. And Grand Central Petaluma, if you don't know where it is, people don't understand the location. It is 226 Weller, but you can also zip line from Ayahuasca across the river.
There you go.
Because
they should set up a zip line.
I know. You could probably they have really good cocktails over at Ayahuasca.
Great.
And
you
food. Could just zip line over.
Just zip line right over.
Yeah, but we sell empanadas too, so it's not just a coffee shop.
And I realized we didn't touch on that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Just
That's
it now.
Great. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks so much for your time.
I love this. So, and now I'm really hungry and I need more coffee.
Time for an afternoon snack. Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
If you like what you hear, please be sure to like and subscribe, learn more about Sonoma County and all that we have to offer here.